I thought my wedding was stressful.
So, at midnight, you have to play a game.
Why?
It's just something we do when someone new joins the family.
A game. What game?
Hey everyone, Lindsay here, and this is my review for Ready or Not. I was very excited to see this film. Ever since the first trailer came out, knew I wanted to see it, knew I wanted to do a review about it. And I went and saw it last night, and I was not disappointed in the least.
The rules are simple. You can hide anywhere. We then try to find you.
I thought the story was great. I thought the gore was great. Even though most of it is CG, it was still pretty dang good. The acting, for the most part, is pretty good. And the music is really, really good. It fits very well with the tone and sensibilities of this film. If I had to put this film into a category, it's definitely horror, but it's like a gothic horror comedy chase film kind of thing. The girl who plays the lead, Samara Weaving, she's like a mini Margot Robbie. I really liked her. She did a fantastic job. She was the heart of this film and she really pulled it off. The other people in it, there's Adam Brody. He plays the brother. He does a very good job. Andie MacDowell plays the mother. She's very good. Henry Czerny, I think is how you pronounce his name. He plays the dad. He's very, very good. I really enjoyed his performance. I'd say probably his most well-known role was as Kittredge from the original Mission Impossible movie.
I can understand you're very upset.
Kittredge, you've never seen me very upset.
All right, Hunt. Enough is enough.
Another one of my favorite characters is the aunt because she just looks she just looks crazy and pissed off through the whole thing. Yeah, this movie is so much fun. This film moves very fast. It's only an hour and a half long. And although the action does start pretty quickly, it's still a slow burn as to some of the darker elements behind this family and how they got so rich and the things that they do in their free time. I really like this. I really enjoyed this film. It's original. It's not part of a franchise. It doesn't have huge big name actors in it, and it's done really well. It's zany, it's kooky, it's funny, and if you have not seen this movie yet, I would suggest going with a group of people. My husband and I were the only two people in the theater, and we still enjoyed ourselves, but I could see that this was a film that would just be a blast to see with a crowd full of people, because there's so much to root for and laugh at and jump at. It's one of those movies that you really should see in the theater, and I highly encourage you to go see this one in the theater because it needs to make money so people make more movies like this.
Oh, Jesus, you shot the maid!
I also really enjoyed the mythology that was set up behind the family's history and the fact that they started their business by making these creepy board games. And of course they live in this huge house, so the setting is very gothic, and she's running around in this big white wedding dress and sneakers. It's great visuals throughout the film.
God damn it!
If I had to criticize anything about this film, some of the situations seemed a little forced at times. A few times the acting got a little but it did not pull you out of the film. Everything else in it more than makes up for those few little instances. And some of the CG elements aren't the best, but they're completely acceptable, especially when you're shooting a lower budget film on location at this huge historical estate. You can't really be destroying things or blowing things up or wrecking things. You have to use CG to put in those huge blood splatters or flames, things like that. So I completely understand why they went with CG and not practical effects for most of it. Now I want to get into a little bit of spoiler territory because I really want to talk about some of the more specific elements in the plot and the ending. I really, really enjoyed this film because it kind of merges a few genres together. I mean, you have slasher and devil worshipping. So there's both real life and mystical elements going on at the same time, which I really like. The fact that you don't know until the end whether or not what they believe is actually true, I really enjoyed, because as I mentioned before, spoiler alert, this family has amassed their wealth and think that all their success is due to the fact that they're devil worshippers.
They think they have to kill you before sunrise, or something very bad will happen to the family.
They only give you little bits of that throughout the film up until the end. Because, I mean, you see her, she runs up to the barn and there's all these goats, and they have like this pit where they've thrown all the dead goats from their sacrifices. So there's a lot of subtlety going on in this film throughout until the end, which is anything but subtle. Because at the end, you think maybe for a second that their whole belief system is bullshit, but then one by one, they all explode in spectacular fashion, and it's just great. It's extremely fun and extremely cathartic, and I was laughing through that whole end sequence. It was great. And one important thing that I've said before about horror films is having those iconic images or iconic set pieces or vehicles or costumes that kind of elevate your character. And I think the main character in this, Grace, she has that iconic horror character look. She's got the ripped up wedding dress, she's got the sneakers on, and there's that picture of her with the belt of bullets and the big giant gun. I'm sure you'll see at least a couple of those if you go to any horror conventions or Halloween parties this year. So if you have not seen Ready or Not, go see it. It's a blast. It's so much fun. You can just sit there and enjoy everything that's happening on the screen.
You're just another sacrifice.
Well, that's gonna do it for this review. So until next time, this is Lindsay signing off. I'll check you later.